All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Stevens, and I'm going to be presenting to you on clinical psychology and why I hope to one day work in this field. So, the first question we need to answer is what is clinical psychology? Um, this is basically the staple job that everyone thinks of when they take their first psych class, where you have the client in the reclined chair talking about his feelings, you have the therapist taking notes and asking more questions. But to get a bit more in detail on this particular job, clinical psychologists they usually specialize in a number of different approaches that's going to help them assess and treat their clients with whatever is bothering them, whether it's a past trauma or an addiction or maybe an abnormal thought or behavior. So first, the psychologist is going to administer a number of tests in order to establish a therapeutic relationship with their client and also to assess basically their psychological state, their history, their family situation, networking, what their work environment is like. And that's going to help them pinpoint the source of the trauma or the issue. And then once that is done, the psychologist will then develop a treatment plan that is going to be designed around the client's specific needs and help them develop coping skills, maybe overcoming the trauma or helping them leave behind their past. And the end goal, of course, is to help minimize or prevent altogether the thought or behavior that is bothering the client. And then in some cases where the client's psychological state is particularly concerning, the psychologist is going to work with other healthcare professionals in order to help the client progress in their treatment and still maintain safety. So the regular route a person's going to go to become a clinical psychologist is they're going to complete their undergraduate degree and then they'll usually go straight for their doctorate degree. What they can also do is also get their master's degree first. That's going to be another 2 to 3 years. And usually you would do this if maybe your bachelor's didn't properly prepare you for a doctorate's program, or maybe you just want to develop more knowledge or acquire more skills specific for this major. And then if you specialize in a specific area, so maybe health psychology or neuropsychology, your doctorate's going to be a bit longer. So, in relation to my 4-year plan, right now I'm working on my bachelor's in health psychology. I'm planning to graduate winter semester of next year. After that, I'm going to apply to 4 schools, and hopefully I get into one of their doctorate programs. If that doesn't play out like I'm hoping it will, then I'm going to get a master's. And then hopefully by then I will have developed my my academic history in order to help me land into a doctorate's program. And then once that is done, I'm going to have to go through another year or two of training and licensing to actually be able to practice clinical psychology. So here are some personal pictures of me. On the left is me after my first semester in Horseshoe Canyon. And then on the right was just a fun photo shoot I did with a friend a few semesters ago. So why did I choose psychology? Well, my grandfather was a radiologist, so from a young age I kind of had this idea that I wanted to work in a healthcare setting just because I wanted to be like him, how he was helping people, and he always had fun stories to tell. And then when I started at BYU Idaho, I took my first psychology class in my second semester and just immediately fell in love with the material, with everything I learned, with the applications for it, and the jobs available. And then just last year, I worked at a residential treatment facility called Provo Canyon School, and it was a very fulfilling experience for me. It was a hard job, no doubt, but helping our patients work through their treatment, developing coping skills, it was just such a rewarding experience that I just knew that this is where I needed to be. And so, in relation to the reasons given in Chapter 13, I've got a very strong interest in psychology and the subject matter, and I hope to be a clinical psychologist one day. And even if that's not what ends up happening, everything I've learned and all the skills that I've acquired throughout this course, I know is going to prepare me for whatever job I take on, because I'm going to be working with people no matter where I go, and just being able to understand them, being able to better communicate with them, it's going to be so helpful no matter what I choose to do. And with that, that concludes my presentation. So hopefully you guys learned a bit more about clinical psychology. Maybe if you're interested, this was helpful in figuring out what you need to do in order to do that. All right. And with that, thank you guys for watching.